Imagine you are an airline executive. Your job is to accurately price a passenger ticket today for a flight taking off in 8 months. Your single biggest expense, jet fuel, is a moving target. Its price swings wildly every day based on production quotas, logistics, and unpredictable global geopolitics. If a crisis hits in month 6 and crude oil prices spike, the revenue from those tickets you already sold will no longer cover the cost to fly the plane. You would go bankrupt just trying to fulfill your own orders. Every massive enterprise operates under this threat. Global supply chains, long-term infrastructure projects, and international trade are all built on a foundation of variables that no one can control, from shifting commodity prices to fluctuating exchange rates. To manufacture certainty in a volatile world, companies rely on derivatives. These contracts act as the essential shock absorbers of the global economy. At its core, a derivative is exactly what it sounds like: a financial instrument whose value is derived from an underlying asset, like a stock, a barrel of oil, or a currency. The design allows a business to isolate the price risk of an asset without having to physically own it. Take Malaysia Airlines. Because they operate in such a fuel-sensitive industry, they project their jet fuel needs up to 2 years in advance, and they need a way to lock in those future costs today. This visualization shows how they build that defense. To protect themselves from erratic market swings, the airline purchases crude oil futures and options, creating a hard ceiling on what they will pay for fuel. A futures contract creates a strict obligation to buy the asset at a set price. An option, however, gives the airline the right but not the obligation to buy at that price, allowing them to walk away if the market price drops. Capping this downside risk ensures corporate budget stability. It allows the airline to confidently price consumer tickets today without guessing tomorrow's fuel costs. Beyond commodities, global businesses face a second major vulnerability: foreign exchange risk. Daily currency fluctuations can wipe out profit margins before a single product is even shipped. Consider a multinational exporter based in Malaysia. They might finalize a major supply deal priced in US dollars, but they still have to pay their local manufacturing staff and suppliers in Malaysian ringgit. If the dollar weakens against the ringgit before the invoice is paid, the exporter loses money on the entire deal. To neutralize this exposure, they execute a tool called a forward contract. A forward contract is a customized agreement that locks in today's MYR-USD exchange rate for a transaction that won't happen until months in the future. By removing exchange rate volatility, the exporter ensures cross-border commerce results in reliable, predictable revenue. We see similar structural defenses in heavily indebted industries. Utility providers often borrow billions of dollars to build physical infrastructure, like massive power grids. This debt is frequently tied to variable rate loans. If global interest rates rise unexpectedly, the company's borrowing costs explode overnight. This is where the interest rate swap comes in. A company takes their exposure to an unpredictable floating interest rate and trades it with a bank for a perfectly straight fixed rate. Through this agreement, the company exchanges their floating rate payments for predictable fixed rate payments. The bank absorbs the volatility, and the company's debt costs stay flat. This swap provides cost stability, supporting long-term capital planning regardless of macroeconomic shifts. If businesses use derivatives to eliminate their risk, where does that risk actually go? Risk is never destroyed, it is transferred. It moves to market speculators, who willingly take on the opposing bet in pursuit of profit. Many of these trades are customized over-the-counter contracts. They rely entirely on counterparty trust, which can create systemic risk if one side defaults during a crisis. After 2008, regulators tightened oversight through frameworks like Basel III and Dodd-Frank. They enforced centralized clearing to prevent a domino-effect financial collapse. This technology is now being applied to managing climate change. Firms use ESG-linked derivatives, like carbon credit futures, to hedge their financial exposure to emissions targets and new environmental regulations. In a chaotic global system, derivatives are the hidden architecture that allows airlines to fly, exporters to build, and utilities to power the grid without worrying about the financial weather.